All right, we are live. What's up, YouTube? What's up, everybody? We're going to get started here in just a minute. I'm pretty excited about this. It's episode 137 of the Think Big live podcast. I'm going to get us live on IG here in just a moment, though, once we get the A-OK that we're streaming. There we go. I see that we're live on IG. Guys, I'm super excited about this. For any of you that are new to the channel, what's going on? If it's your first time tuning in to the YouTube video, want to say hi, welcome. We have been doing this podcast. I say we, I got to get over that phrasing because this podcast started off with me and three of my best friends, and each person had to pull out of the podcast for a particular reason. And so now this podcast is a solo show. And tonight's our first solo episode. So my vernacular, I got to get away from the we. I'm going to be saying I a little bit more. But welcome back to the community. And for those of you that don't know what we're going to be talking about tonight, I'm going to be going into depth about the reasons people don't succeed, the reasons I've failed in business in the past, and things that I've struggled with, and ultimately what I found that helped me get over it. So if you're on YouTube, if you're watching over there, come over, or if you're on Instagram and you're watching over there, come over to the YouTube channel. Go and check out the link. It's in my bio on my Instagram. Come hang out on the YouTube, because that's where we're going to have more conversation. We'll have a little bit of back and forth. Lily, the light, glad to see you on here. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So if you're new, let me just give you some background about who I am. My name is Marlon Johnson. I've been an entrepreneur now since October of 2019. I got into investing in real estate as my main entrepreneurial path because of where I was in my life at that time. See, I was living at home with my mom and my sister, not making a lot of money. In fact, I was actually taking a walk earlier today and reflecting on this whole crazy journey that's been going on, because I just came back from having a month-long excursion in Asia, which is something I always wanted to do. And I'm finally getting to live out some of those earlier dreams, those earlier fantasies, but it's not where I started. See, when I got started in business, I had no stinking clue what I was doing. I had no money. I had no experience. I had no resources. I didn't have any skills yet. And let me know, put a 1 in the chat if you can relate to that season. Maybe you're in that season right now. Like, drop a 1 in the chat, comment 1 right now. This is live. Let me know, can you relate to the season of, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no money. I need money. I don't have many skills. I need more skills. I don't have many more resources. I need more resources. I don't have a network. I need more of a network. And those were all the things, right? So just, I guess it's me and Lily. Me and Lily, the rest of you all have it figured out. Lily put a 1 in the chat. So Lily and I were the only people in the beginning struggling. And what's interesting was my struggles persisted for a while at the start of me getting into the business. I struggled with waking up each day knowing what I was supposed to do. I struggled with, when I found out what I was supposed to do, doing it consistently. I struggled with getting results, even though I was doing things consistently. And because the results weren't coming in what I felt was an appropriate time, I would wander off and venture off and find something else to do. I would get distracted. I'd find interesting and fun ways to procrastinate. I would say, ooh, well, now today I'm putting a website together, and now I'm doing this and I'm doing that, all as ways of ultimately running away from the important work that needed to be done. And I'm going to tell you guys this, the important work that needed to be done, I thought it was all on the business. I really thought all the important work that was necessary to succeed all had to do with, hey, just do more of the business, right? At that moment in time, go out and cold call more, go out and door knock more, go out and send more letters. And yes, those things are important. But what's interesting is I finally got myself to a place where I was consistently doing the actions, but I still wasn't getting the results, and I couldn't figure out why. In fact, I'm going to share a little bit of a story. Beth, you just heard me share the story yesterday. Perry, you heard me share the story before. Savan, you heard me share the story. I'm going to share it again quickly right now for the people who it's their first time tuning in. And don't worry, we're going to talk about the Relentless Results Protocol here in a little bit. So you're going to get some of that. I'm going to talk to you about how we're going to build some consistency together, at least what I'm going to be doing for the next 30 days to build some consistency. But when I was getting started, I found myself, finally got myself to take consistent action, but the issue I ran into was internally. Although I was taking consistent action externally, internally, I didn't truly have confidence. I didn't truly believe in what I was doing. I had this inner self-talk that was beating me up every time I would do something. I'd make a phone call and it didn't go the way I wanted to. Damn it, Marlon, you screwed up another deal. I would call a homeowner. They would tell me my offer's too low or to go kick rocks. See, Marlon, you suck at this. You're not built for real estate. You're not built for business. And it wasn't until I got around people who were more successful than me and I started to see how they responded and how they reacted to what I considered failure. They looked at all the no's as opportunities and doors opening that were getting them closer to the yes. And so I realized that they had a totally different identity involved with the actions they were taking. And on top of that, they had cultivated a confidence within themselves. And I became very obsessed with how do I develop more confidence? And I'm going to tell you guys where confidence comes from. Confidence comes from, in my opinion, confidence comes from repetition. It comes from doing something over and over and over and over again, but also it comes from identifying with the result, identifying with the behavior, identifying with the character that you're becoming as you take this action and you're doing the repetition over and over and over again. And so, as I'm getting back home from Asia, as I'm settling back into my life, something that I'm settling back into is finding routines for myself. I love spontaneity. I love being able to get up and go and travel the world on a whim. I just got the opportunity to spend 3 weeks in Vietnam, another 2 weeks in Japan, a weekend in Hawaii, met amazing people, did amazing things. And that was all fun. Every single day was different. I woke up in a new place every single day. I had a new schedule every single day. However, I'm back home and I'm locking in and I'm loading up to grow my next venture, to grow my business, which is my high performance business, my coaching business. That's the thing I'm in alignment with. That's the thing I'm passionate about. And quite frankly, that's the thing that scares the hell out of me now. Right. And earlier today, I was taking a walk and I was going to stream this live on Instagram, but I figured let me come and share it with you guys on YouTube tonight. And as I was taking this walk, I was reflecting on, again, the journey of getting to this point in my life where I can do the things I want. And I was thinking about how important it is for us to have clear goals, to know exactly what we want to do. Because if you're not clear on where you want to go and you're not clear on what you want to accomplish, you're going to end up spinning in mud. You're going to end up doing a lot of things, but never actually getting anywhere. And right now, my clear goal for me is it's big, it's scary, it's hairy, it's audacious, is my coaching business. I want to grow that to $1 million within a year. And the reason it's scary to me is I've already 2 years ago was the first year I broke $1 million in my real estate business. And I know how to do it in real estate. In fact, it doesn't scare me. And I think actually making $1 million in real estate is easier than what I'm attempting to do. I know there are going to be people who argue like, no, it's actually going to be easier to make money in a coaching business or to make money online and things of that nature. But I'm actually more scared about doing it here. Why? Because I haven't done it in this realm before. And I found myself thinking about how often do we do this, where we set a goal, we want to go out and accomplish something big. Maybe you're working on growing your real estate business. Maybe you're working on growing another company that you have, or you're working on obtaining a skill, or you're working on building a network, or building an app, or building a CRM, or whatever the case is. You're trying to build something new for the first time. And what happens is you start going after it, but then it starts to get a little uncomfortable. It starts to get unfamiliar, and you go back to what you knew how to do. And you start to say, well, this is the thing I'm supposed to do because you already know how to do it. Kind of like how I'm telling you right now, I want to build this business and I think it's going to be difficult and hard and scary to build $1 million coaching business, but I already know how to build $1 million real estate business. All right. I've already done it. It's like talking to a little kid and telling them how easy it is to learn how to tie your shoes. And you're teaching them to tie their shoe and they get a little frustrated. They're like, it's not easy for me. To you, it's easy because you've done it before. To them, it's not easy. And they're like, just give me my Velcros back. Let me get my Velcro shoes back on. Let me move away from the shoelaces. But you understand, you've got to go and you've got to learn how to tie the shoes so that you can step up into the next level. And so what allows you to start being able to build that next level, to build that next business? It's having consistency and confidence in yourself. And the way we're going to get there is through routine and through repetition and through intentionality. And that's ultimately, as I'm coming back home, as I'm stepping into this next season and this next chapter of work, of business, of life, I'm recognizing the need for myself personally to rebuild my routine. Being away for a month was phenomenal. However, my life, my business, my goals require another evolution. And the way I step into these evolutions is I start to set a structure for myself. What's interesting is, as entrepreneurs, we like to break out of the walls. We like to do our own thing. In fact, you guys will probably relate to this. You probably don't like to be told what to do. However, what's fascinating is, as much as we are our own independent person, humans, we thrive with routine and structure. We grow with it. We need it in order to create consistent, sustainable growth. It's so odd. And these are chapters, right? There's going to be, after a time of having the structure, you're going to need destructure. You're going to need unstructure. You're going to need free time to go out and allow spontaneity and serendipity to occur. But for those of you that are in the season like that I'm in right now, where it's time to rebuild structure, this is where the relentless results protocol comes into play. This is something I came up with about a year ago, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, because I had done Andy Frisella's 75 hard. By just out of curiosity, how many of you have done 75 hard? Let me know in the chat. What's up, Beth? Right? It's Beth is saying, if I don't have structure in my day, it's not going to run right. It's going to run right past me. Right? Lily says, I feel like I love this, Lily. If it feels like I'm talking directly to you, by the way, I should say this. I'm like a squirrel. I get a little distracted. I've got my screen down here, my screen up here. What's cool is, when I make these YouTube lives, when I make these Instagram lives, when I create my content, I made a promise to myself that I'm making my content for one person at a time. I'm making my content to help one person at a time, to help that one person with one specific thing at a time. And so I probably should have said this at the beginning of the episode. Today's episode, tonight's episode, this episode right now, this is for the person who feels that they need structure, who feels like the day just always seems to get away from them, who feels like you're doing a whole hell of a lot, but it never feels like you're progressing. And it feels like you always start things but never finish. You're a great starter, but you don't have that excellence, right? And excellence, my definition of excellence, and I want you all to write this down. Do me a favor. I can't see you. We're not on a Zoom call, but I'm trusting. I'm having faith in you right now. Write this down. Excellence. I'm going to wait. I know you need to grab a pen, grab a paper. All right, I'm giving you the definition of the word excellence, my definition. Excellence is a commitment to completion. Excellence is a commitment to completion. Do me a favor, write that back in the comments so I know you got it. Excellence is a commitment to completion. I'm going to wait. Like I'm not going to continue this until I see it in the comments and I can throw it up on the screen. Excellence is a commitment to completion. Y'all think I get tired of repeating myself? I do not. Repetition is the mother of mastery. So let me see it. Shout out to Perry. Perry said, excellence is a commitment to completion. Shout out to Beth. Beth says, excellence is a commitment to completion. Shout out to Lily. Lily says, excellence is a commitment to completion. Shout out to Alita. Alita says, excellence is a commitment to completion. Shout out to Dr. Master on Instagram. Excellence is a commitment to completion. Yosio, excellence is a commitment to completion. Ashley, excellence is a commitment to completion. My boy Jose, excellence is a commitment to completion. I got to spend some time with Jose out in Vietnam. What a freaking awesome dude. Savan, excellence is a commitment to completion. And Lisa, excellence is a commitment to completion. Beautiful. So you guys get this. When we talk about excellence, we talk about a commitment to completion. And I want to suggest to you, I'm going to challenge you into this belief that excellence, it's not a characteristic you're born with. It's a character trait you develop if it's your intention to develop it. What most people are missing, whether they realize it or not, is you're missing the characteristic about yourself of excellence, which is I finish what I start, even if the thing I started, I don't want to necessarily do. I have this thing about me that I finish what I start. See, there's a consequence. There's a positive consequence and a negative consequence to being the person who finishes what they start. The positive consequence is pretty obvious. If you start a project, if you start a goal, if you start a dream or a vision, you see it all the way through until the end. The negative is sometimes you commit to things that you really shouldn't have committed to. But because of your character, because of who you are, you see things through until the end, even if you don't necessarily want to finish it. But the reason you finish it isn't because that's the thing that you want to be doing anymore. No, the reason you finish it is because you understand the power of what happens when your character, what happens when you become the person who can be relied on to get things done no matter what. Like, think about that. When you think about who do you want to partner with, who do you want to mentor under, who do you want to bring on as an employee, who do you want to work with, who do you want to marry, who do you want to raise a family with? When you think about a character trait, how many of you would say if I said, who wants to marry, who wants to partner with, who wants to work with the person that follows through on what they say they're going to do, who commits that the words that come out of their mouth also align with the actions that they live out and the results they produce? Who would want to be with that person? I know I do. I want that person to be my business partner. I want those types of people to be my employees. I want those types of people to be my best friends. Those are the people I want to live with. So what sort of people do you think they want to hang out with? They want to hang out with other people who your word is your bond. And I'm telling you right now, it is a developable skill to get to that point where your word is your bond. How do you do that? It's you give yourself challenges. You give yourself the opportunity to do things that are, quite frankly, difficult, a little inconvenient, and then you follow through until the finish line, until the whistle blows, until you're done. Last year, many of you know, me and my buddies, we did a run across America. We started in Santa Monica Pier, California, and we ran to Central Park, New York. We did that over the course of 79 days. We ran 40 to 45 miles per day, every day, covering over 3,000 miles, raising over $111,000 to fight human trafficking. And one of the coolest things about that, personally, on the personal side, not on the charity side, not on the Instagram side, on the personal side, do you know how fucking cool it is to know that we can start something like that, such a big project, and see it all the way through to completion, even when we went through days that were hell, when we were running through Arizona on 100-degree days, when we were running up the mountains of Arizona in hail and freezing cold, and we only had shorts and no one thought to bring winter jackets and we didn't have gloves, to be running through New Mexico, being chased by wild, rabid dogs, to be going in on rainy days, to be in Louisiana and to have mosquitoes everywhere. Like, it was freaking awesome. Because at the end of it, I had this realization of I can truly, truly do anything I put my mind to. So now bring that back on a smaller scale, because I did something before that run across America last year, which was the Relentless Results Protocol. Some of you remember that. Some of you did that with me, like Savan. I see Savan on here. Savan, you did the Relentless Results Protocol with me. And so I'm going to talk about what that is a little bit right now, because ultimately, this is a protocol just like 75 Hard, that the purpose of the protocol, the main purpose of it, is to get you to become the person who follows through on doing difficult things. Because if you develop that skill, if you develop that muscle, do you think, you let me know, do you believe that will serve you in your business? Do you believe that will serve you in your relationships? Do you believe it will serve you in your life? My goal is to make it so that you're not reliant on anybody else externally, that you realize that the internal changes are the ones that create the external results in your life. That's the game. This game is an inside-out game. Everyone out there is trying to sell you an external tool. Get this new AI, buy this new CRM, buy my data, buy my this, buy my that. Guys, I'm trying to sell you something too. I am. I'm a salesman. When I'm trying to sell you, I'm trying to sell you you. I'm trying to sell you your own personal development. I'm trying to sell you on your own internal transformation. I'm trying to sell you on taking the cockpit, taking the driver's seat to your life. That's what I'm trying to sell you on here. I'm transparent. I'm upfront about that. I want you guys to know. Like, I Guys, I promise you, I'm going to get into the relentless results. I tend to start to run with things when I start talking. Many of you know me, you know my personality type. This is what I do. I just this morning was talking with one of my guys that I was coaching. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I do high performance coaching. I'm a high performance coach. People pay me thousands of dollars, right? Anywhere from $8,000 to $20,000 is what people typically pay me to work with them, to help them through their business, to help them through their personal development, to help them unlock their next levels of finances, to help them unlock their next level of fitness, to help them unlock their next level of life. And so this morning, I was talking to one of my clients, Gerald, and some of you were there. You were on the Zoom call. We were having this conversation in a room of like 50, 60 people this morning. And Gerald, while I was in Asia, had messaged me. He texted me and said, "Bro, just closed my biggest deal yet. My biggest deal yet. $50,000 rip." Right? When I started working with Gerald, the biggest deal I think they did at that point was maybe like 2,000, 3,000. I forget what the number was. It wasn't a big deal at all. He was still cutting hair as a barber. He didn't really know what he was doing. He and his partners were all over the place. And we started working on his personal development because he told me, my goal is to grow my business. And I said, if your goal really is to grow your business, you need to grow yourself first. And we spoke about what that looked like, and it made sense to him. And this morning, he literally got in front of the room, and I didn't ask him to say this. He said it on his own. He said, "Yo, my life, my business, everything started to change when I started to listen to people who were further ahead of me." He's like, "When I invested in Marlon and the coaching, and when I invested in listening to people like Caroline, and you guys know Caroline, one of my best friends. I love that girl, right? We preach this. We preach your personal development. We preach you growing internally so that your external results, your external life can be the one that you want to live, right? And a 50K rip, that is a big stinking deal. Now, Dean is saying he can't hear anything on Instagram. Dean, I think Deanna, that might only be you if you can't hear me on Instagram, because everyone else seems to be able to hear me on Instagram, but you can't hear this, so that's not helping you. Go to the YouTube channel if you do somehow start to hear this. All right. So investing in his personal development. And by the way, I got to talk about one more person. Let me actually, I can't just talk about him and not show you guys him, because our boy Gerald is a rock star. So I just got to give some love to Gerald. Then we're going to get back to these relentless results. I'm going to give Gerald a huge freaking shout out right now. Hopefully, can you guys see my Instagram? Yes, you can. Also, take a look at this. I believe in focus. When I go to my Instagram newsfeed, this is what you see. That's it. It's a quote. I don't see posts. I don't see things on here. That way I don't get distracted. But let's go to Gerald for a minute. Our boy Gerald out here. Shout out to that handsome man, that great father, right? Poor mindset versus rich mindset. I love this, right? Our boy Gerald just locked up the fat deal, right? This is Caroline talking about his big deal. Actually, no, let's go back. Right? Our boy is closing 50K deals, copying the process, working on himself, doing everything right. Shout out to Gerald. And also shout out to another one of my clients. Got to give some love to Victor. Victor, I was just having a conversation with him. I don't know why I'm not following Victor right now, but I was just having a conversation with Victor about an hour ago. And again, Victor, he and I started working together about a year ago, had some tough conversations about what he needed to do, about the man he needed to become, about the sort of commitment he needed to have. And Victor just told me, he's like, "Bro, we got 3 deals under contract last month. I didn't have to do anything. And I'm working with my brother now, and our company, their company's already done over $300,000 cash collected in the first 3 months of the year." So shout out to these guys. I'm not saying that to impress you guys. I'm saying it to impress upon you the importance of really working on yourself first and foremost. If you have a conversation with these guys, and I implore you to reach out to them, message them, and ask them like, "Hey, what was helpful?" They're going to tell you it started with internally becoming the sort of man, the sort of woman that you need to be first. External results follow internal becoming. Now, let's talk about the relentless results challenge, because this is something that helps you to build routine. This is something that helps you to create consistency. Like, really, at the end of the day, when I put this challenge together, it was because I was coming from a place where my schedule got all over the place, my life got all over the place, my energy got all over the place. And I was like, I need something that's going to pull me back in, help rein in the consistency, help me be someone that can commit to my basically become excellent, right? Commit to completion on the task I start. And also, I saw a lot of other people who needed the exact same thing. A lot of people kept telling me how they started something, and one week they're doing this challenge, the next week they're doing this strategy, the third week they're starting this business, the fourth week they got this partnership, and they were just all over the place. And so I want you to learn how to stick to something until you're done, because then you will be able to do so much more in your business and in your life. So let me go ahead and share my screen. What's going on, Karen? Karen says, excellence is a commitment to completion. Shout out to Karen for popping up here and still getting it. Ashley says guilty. By the way, how many of you, let me know, put guilty in the comments if you've ever started and not finished something. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm guilty of this. I've started and not finished things before. And I've had that disgusting feeling of regret when I look back and I think to myself, if I had just committed to this 2 years ago when I started it, I would already be done. I would already have done everything I wanted to. I've had that feeling before, right? Beth says so guilty. Perry says guilty. Savant says guilty. Cool. And I'm showing you guys this because I want you to realize you're not alone. So let's look at this. I'm going to go inside my school for a minute. You guys might have seen my school before, and we're going to go to where it says start here, because this is what I want y'all to pay attention to. So you guys all have access to my school. If you're not already in it, I made it for people that are here tonight. It's free for you to get in. So you're able to get into this. If you don't have the link to the school, just DM me on Instagram, the word school, SKOOL. You'll get into this for free. You don't have to pay a dime. You don't need to swipe your credit card. You don't need to fill in anything. I think you do need to create a school account, but it's whatever. It's giving it your email. So here's a relentless results challenge. It should remind you of 75 hard, because again, I based it off of 75 hard, Andy Frisella, because that program works so damn well for people. But this fits more of an entrepreneur's life, because with 75 hard, there were 2 workouts that need to be done a day. I'm already a relatively fit guy. I don't need to spend, an hour and a half working out every day. I can get my workouts done usually in 30 to 45 minutes. So I adjusted a few things to make it fit us. So let's go through these things, because these were critical steps to becoming a person who is excellent, which means you commit to completion, and then being able to channel that excellence into needle moving activities in your life and business. And so the first thing is you've got to plan your day. It is critical that if you want to build the life of your dreams, it's critical that if you want to build anything of noteworthy success, that you need to be intentional. And that intentionality, here's what happens. It's like taking a shower. It fades away. Your clarity, it fades away. The same way that when you take a shower, if I take a shower tonight, when I do take a shower tonight, the reality is tomorrow I'm going to go, I'm going to work out, I'm going to do things. And before the evening is over, before tomorrow is over, I'm going to be dirty again. And it's going to require that I take another shower. Your clarity, your intentions are just the same. You've got to go and repeat it regularly. So what I need you to do as a part of this challenge, Alita, I need you to plan your day out every single day. And I want to define what plan your day means. I'm not talking about making the never-ending to-do list. I've said it once before. I'll say it again, and I'll repeat myself in the future, and I'm okay with that. To-do lists do not work. The reason to-do lists do not work is because you can always add more things onto your to-do list, and your to-do list doesn't necessarily move the needle on important items, right? Like on my to-do list is I need to go get my shirts out of the dryer. My to-do list is we need to go and vacuum the kitchen. My to-do list is the cleaners need to be scheduled to come over on Friday. My to-do list is, right, and all those things I need to do, but do they make me money? Do they allow me to get back to Vietnam faster? Do they let me go out and travel the world? And no, they don't. Because a to-do list misses the key critical item. It doesn't know which is the most important task. So when you start to plan your day and you're getting intentional, it's important that you do this. As you plan your day, you need to hold in your mind, what is your most important goal? For me, when I'm planning my day, I already told you at the beginning of this YouTube, my most important goal right now is building my coaching business, building my mindset business, building my high performance business to $1 million revenue a year business. That's my big, scary, audacious goal. Like every time I say it, I'm like, I get a little chill. I'm like, damn it. Like that's a big, again, I've done $1 million business before, but I did it in another sector, in another asset class. So it feels brand new again. And I'm scared again. And I'm nervous again. And I'm excited again. So when I plan my day, I think about, okay, if that's the most important goal that I want to accomplish, now what are the 3 most important things that I can focus on and do tomorrow that will move the needle the most towards accomplishing that goal? Priorities beat to do, because priorities state this is the most important. And then after this task, this is what's most important after I complete the first task. And the third, this is the most important after I complete task number 2 and after I complete task number 1. If you cannot identify what the most important task is, it means you don't know what you're trying to accomplish. If you tell me that, well, Marlon, this is the most important and this is also the most important, it means you don't understand the English language, because there can't be 2 most important things. There can only ever be one most important. That's the reality. Even if it's just by a fraction of a fraction of a fraction percentage more important, it's still more important. And here's the truth. If something is the most important thing to do, everything else that you're doing besides the most important thing is a distraction. It's procrastination. Simple example. Let's say I've got to cut the grass, right? I've got a big yard. The grass is getting out of control. In fact, I'm probably going to get a code violation at my personal house if I don't cut the grass. So cutting the grass it's important. And I also have to call a seller back. And if I call that seller back, that deal will make me $50,000. Which one of those 2 items is the most important? Which one moves the needle the most? It's obvious. It would be calling the seller, making the 50,000. Why? How do I know? Here's my measuring stick. If I complete one of these tasks, does it take care of or completely render the other task useless or unnecessary? If I cut the grass, do I still need to call the seller? Yes. If I call the seller and get that deal done, do I still need to cut the grass? No. I make $50,000. Guess what I can do? I can pay somebody to cut the grass for me. One task will enable the other task useless or unnecessary. When you prioritize, you want to look for, hey, what's the thing I can do today? I don't have unlimited time. I only have 24 hours in a day. And of that 24 hours, you might only have access to one of those hours to work on your business, to work on your dream life. So how do you want to use that hour? Plan your day. Okay. And before I keep going, I'm going to show you guys this. If you do end up coming into the school, what's nice is for each of these on the side, you see, I actually break each individual concept down into its own section where I explain it in usually like a 2 to 3 minute video or shorter. And if you're like me, you're going to watch it at 2x speed. And this 2-minute video becomes a 1 minute and 20-second video, if you guys can see that. All right, let's bring it back over here. That's part of the challenge number 1. So every day, every single day, you're going to commit to planning your day and physically writing out your 3 most important tasks that need to be done, and looking at the most important task and working on that task until it is complete. And here's the truth. If, let's say you have 3 tasks that day and you only work on task number 1 and you don't even complete task number 1, that is a better day than you having 3 tasks and jumping back and forth between 1, 2, and 3. It is much more important that you just work on task 1 until it's done. And then you complete task 1, and then you move on to task 2, and then you identify the next 3. You see what the next third thing would be, incorporate it, but then you work on each task in its level of importance. That is ultimately how a person gets more done in the same amount of time. This is one of the things you need to know. And I know I'm a little long-winded on this, but this is absolutely critical for you to truly comprehend and for you to truly lock in. The wealthiest person on the planet Earth, Elon Musk, and the poorest person on the planet Earth all have the same 24 hours. Yet we understand that some people get much more done with their 24 hours than everybody else. It's called leverage. They work on the biggest needle moving activities. All right, let's move over to item number 2. Ooh, Jose says, you're telling the universe you're serious and you don't just want it. You're getting it. You're unshakable. Jose, that is so freaking good. When you start to when you start to identify what you want and then you start to break it down and you focus on, I'm doing this thing, this most important task until it's done, you are literally telling the universe, you're talking to God directly and you're saying, God, I'm serious. God, I want this. If it's your will, it's my will, and I'm here to prove it to you. I'm here to prove my faith. And I'm going to tell you all, how do you prove your faith? If you have faith, the parachute's going to open. Imagine this for a moment. You're standing on a cliff. Your friend puts the parachute on your back and they say, trust me. And you say, I trust you. And they say, do you have faith? And you say, yes, I have faith. And they say, prove it. How do you prove you have faith? How do you prove that you have faith that the parachute's going to open? Tell me. Put it in the comments. How do you prove that you have faith that the parachute's going to open? I know how I would prove it. Anthony Johnston. Good to see you, brother. Anthony Johnson, spot on with the answer. Anthony says, take a leap. Lily says, take the jump. You jump. That's how you prove your faith. How do you prove you really want the life you say you want? You plan your days and then you work your plan. Plan your work and work your plan. Plan your work and work your plan. In fact, do me a favor. Write that down for yourself. Write it in your notebook. And if you're here without a pen and paper, if you're not taking notes right now, I don't know what you're doing. I don't. I want to see you win, but I can't want to see you win more than you want to see you win. I told you at the beginning of this, I have something to sell you. I want to sell you on you. I want to sell you on the idea that your personal development is the thing that will unlock your next level of success. That your internal development, of who you are, your self-identity, your characteristics, that is much more important than any other work you will ever do from here on out. That's not to say don't go out and do the external work. I'm just telling you that if you're doing it without the internal work, if you're doing the external work without the internal work, dude, it's never going to work. It has no substance. There's no oomph. It's a shell. Okay. Number 2. Dang, we're only, I hope we don't go over an hour. I'll try and speed it up. I didn't even realize we're at 37 minutes. Man, I was worried. A part of me was worried, like, man, without my co-host, without Sam, the wonderful Sam, that it would be hard to keep going for an hour. But quite frankly, hopefully you can feel that I love this conversation. I love this topic, and I love you guys. So first off, shout out to you guys for showing up, for being here today. If you're getting value, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We are going to be going live every Tuesday. Yes, this is my this is like in my show commercial. This is the in the show commercial right here, because I want to always let people know what I'm up to. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this channel. I'm proud of this challenge. I'm proud of my brand. I'm proud of what I do. And so because I'm proud of it, I'm going to talk about it. And if you don't like that I talk about it, you came to the wrong channel. But if you do like that I talk about it and you are getting value, make sure you hit that like, you leave the subscribe, and share this right now while you're here. Be like, yo, share this to your friends, share this to your battle buddy. Be like, yo, you need to be on this live right now, because he's dropping some gems. If it's resonating with you, it's going to resonate with the people that you resonate with. All right, let's keep going. Beth, I love you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Beth. Just quick side note, Beth, I've been loving watching you show up. Me and Caroline were just downstairs 20 minutes ago. We were talking about you. We were talking about Lindsay. We were talking about Melissa. We were talking about Lisa. We were talking about Gerald. We were talking about the people that we see showing up and working on themselves. And there are days where I personally just want to sit in. I don't want to make content. I don't want to talk to people. But then I think about the results that you guys are getting in your lives. And I think about the small influence we get to play in watching those results occur. And truthfully, it re-energizes the hell out of me. And it makes me want to go harder. It makes me want to become more. And it inspires me. It's a two-way street. So Beth, I love you. Thank you. Number 2, work out once a day, every day, 7 days a week, 45-minute workout. It is so absolutely important and critical that you take this temple that is your home. Your body is your home. What up, Papa Goose? What's good, bro? Jerry. All right, you take your body, you take your temple, and you work on it. While we were in Asia, I it was amazing to see people in their 70s, their 80s, their 90s out and mobile, right? Not just walking, riding bicycles, playing soccer, playing badminton, riding the scooters through the crazy traffic of Vietnam and going through Japan and running to catch their train and sprinting up the stairs and sprinting down the stairs. So much so that at some point into our trip, Caroline and I literally looked at each other at dinner one night and we're like, yo, we have not seen a single fat person in Asia yet outside of tourists. We have not seen all of these people take care of their bodies. All of these people, when we would talk to them, were mentally sharp. They were happy. And I found for myself, I was just talking to Caroline. I was like, yo, I found myself to be more productive in Asia where I was around people who were fit and we were constantly walking and we were getting 30,000 steps in a day and we were playing pickleball and we were climbing mountains and we were scrambling and we were riding bicycles and we we're doing all these things. And because we keep a strong, healthy body, it houses a strong, healthy mind. It gave us the energy to get back into our work and to be able to do more and to be able to produce at a higher level, even though we were running on less sleep, even though we were going out and doing so much more. It was because the body was strong and fit. So what I want y'all to do is I want you to commit to a workout once a day for 45 minutes. Your workout could be as simple as going for a 45-minute walk. That's a workout, y'all. It can be a little bit more intense, going in weightlifting, right? I usually lift weights 2 to 3 times a week. Then some days my workout is straight mobility work. It's me stretching, but I'm constantly working on the body that is my home until I leave this planet, until the whistle blows. And so I want you to commit, rain or shine, whether you've had enough sleep or you haven't, that you are going to show up for your body. You're going to work out once a day for the next 30 days, every day. Plan it, schedule it, put it on your calendar, make time for it. You deserve that from yourself. You deserve the best body you can possibly have. I think every person should be able to experience having the best body. And here's something that's interesting. People judge you based on your body. It's just a reality. We're not supposed to judge people based on looks, but the truth is we do. I do. I'm going to be honest, if you are obesely overweight, you're smelly, you're dirty, and you talk to me, I'm not going to be rude to you, but internally, a part of my brain is judging you. Part of my brain is thinking, why would you listen to this person? They don't take care of themselves. The standard that they have for their body, the standard they have for their health, they don't care. And what's really interesting is a healthy person can have a million dreams. A sick person only has one. Third habit, third task of this challenge is you're going to read every day. Now, if it's your first time doing this task, I want you to read the book Atomic Habits. A phenomenal book. Read it. I'm not going to go into depth right now on the Atomic Habits book, but if it's your first time doing this challenge, read Atomic Habits. If you've already done this challenge before with me in the past, you already know how awesome that book is. I'll allow you to pick another book. Read another book. It's okay. Right now, I'm going through and I'm reading The Obstacle is the Way. It's a great book. If you want to read it along with me, go pick it up. You can grab it off Amazon. I think it's on Audible. I'm reading the physical copy. I enjoy physical copies, but you want to read 10 pages a day. I prefer to get my reading in early in the morning because what happens is when I take information in early in the morning, it influences my behavior throughout the day. When I get that insight, when I hear that thing, it influences my behavior. It influences my action. It influences me throughout the day. So I like to be influenced at the beginning of the day so I can then apply what I learned and it's more likely to stick because now I've used the information. That's a little tidbit, right? Beth says she's reading the Closers one and she loves it. Awesome. Number 4, habit, your diet, eat healthy. I'm not here to listen. There's a couple of things I don't ever argue about. Politics, religion, and diets. Why? Because everyone's got an opinion on it. Everyone thinks they're completely right. And 99% of people are crazy. But that's cool. I'm crazy too. What I want you to do, though, is I want you to pick a diet that works for you, that fits in with your fitness needs, that fits in with energy, that I'm going to suggest. Here's my suggestion. Choose a diet that gives you energy, that's not about taste, but instead it's about performance. So, for example, my diet's super simple, right? I have a very fast metabolism. I never worry about weight gain. That's not my issue. My body type is just that's what I have. However, energy wise, carbs slow me down. They make me lethargic. They make me sleepy, at least American carbs. And so I consume a high protein diet if I want to keep mentally sharp throughout the day. There's a goal 180 grams of protein per day is what I'm looking to consume for my body based on my fitness goals, based on my energy goals, based on my performance goals. So that's my number 180 grams of protein per day. And because I don't want to be guessing, I have a fitness tracker that I use. And when I eat, when I drink a protein shake, when I grab breakfast, I just insert that number in. It's my KPI around my diet. Whatever your diet is, pick it and stick with it. If you're like, hey, I've been eating too many sweets, cut it down. Be like, hey, I'm not allowed to have, more than 200 calories with sugar or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not here to tell you your diet. You pick that on your own. Good luck. Number 5 is arguably one of my favorites. It's the hands in the dirt. So number 5 is all about getting your hands in the dirt. When I say getting your hands in the dirt, I'm talking about, and Gerald came on this morning and he talked about this because it was one of the first things I told him to do when he hired me as his coach. I did a lot of things. I figured out what he was trying to accomplish. We started to backwards engineer it. And then I taught him about these. I taught him about these Pomodoro clocks. And I taught him about, and if you guys can't see that, let me remove the screen for a second. This is a Pomodoro clock, right? So what I'll do is when I have to work, and I put Caroline onto this, I put basically all of my coaching clients end up getting one of these from me as a gift. And what happens is with the Pomodoro clock, you set a certain amount of time. So I typically tell them that you're going to have 90 minutes of deep work, 90 minutes of absolute focus. Your cell phone's in airplane mode. Your computer, Instagram's not open. Facebook's not open. Nothing is open except the work that is going to move the needle the furthest in your business and life. So typically during that hands in the dirt time, you're working on priority number 1 from your plan because you planned your day the day before. And so it's so important that you do number 5, right? I want you to have your head in the clouds, dream big, right? When I say $1 million coaching business, for me personally, that's big for me right now. That's my head's in the clouds. I've made 6 figures from coaching, but I've never made 7 figures from coaching. So it's a new thing. It's my head in the clouds. It's something that's on the outside of what I've done before. It's on the outside of my comfort zone. It's going to require more of me. It's going to require new skills of me. It's going to require me putting myself out again. It's going to require me getting my teeth kicked in all over. It's going to require me making all types of new mistakes. Fun. That's my hands in the dirt. That's me getting dirty every day. You've got to commit to that 1 hour of putting your hands in the dirt. Number 6 is you need to commit to a journal. So let me get this back on the screen. All right. 6, journaling every day. See, when you journal, here's what happens. I use my journal one of 2 ways. I use my journal to capture gratitude, to reframe my mind. And I use my journal to reflect. It's forced reflection on how the day went and how it could be improved. What's so fascinating to me, I came from the world of sports. I was a parkour athlete, skateboarder, still a snowboarder. I'm a big movement guy. I rock climb regularly. I started slacklining again. I just recently went out and did my first high line, which is a slack line between 2 canyons. So I like to push myself physically. And as an athlete, what helped me improve my physical skill set the fastest in the shortest period of time was when I started filming myself and watching the film. When I started to review my movement, review my action, review my film, review game tape, basically, I started to see places where I could improve. I started to become aware of how I could improve. I wasn't necessarily putting in more hours of practice. I was just simply reviewing the practice that I was already performing. And as a result, I was making correction. I was having iterations much faster. You always hear that, practice makes perfect. No, practice doesn't make perfect, because if you practice the wrong thing over and over and over again, you're going to get locked in doing the wrong thing. Iteration is how you get yourself to mastery. It's not 10,000 hours of practice. It's 10,000 hours of iteration. It's 10,000 iterations. It's doing something and then tweaking it and doing it and tweaking it and doing it and tweaking it. And when you journal, what it forces you to do, if you do it correctly, it will force you to look at each day at the end of the day. And I journal typically in the evening. If I miss the evening because I fell asleep, I'll journal in the morning about the day before, and I will reflect. How did the day go today? How did I stick to the calendar? Did I have the conversations? Did I show up the way I wanted to show up? Was I honest? Was I authentic? Did I lie? Did I tell the truth? Could I have given more? Did I give up too soon? I reflect. I have a conversation with the most important person in my life, me. And as a result of that reflection, I'm typically able to pull out a few things that I can improve upon. And in the next day, I take just one of those things, and I choose to implement the improvement, the iteration that day. This is 1% better each day. I love this. Alita said, I'm going to come back over there and bring this up on the chat. Alita said, the willingness to look at yourself, literally watching yourself back and directing your growth. That's exactly what it is. In fact, I love Alita's input because Alita shared with us yesterday morning that she does a lot of, I believe you said therapy work, that you help people with uncovering things. And I want to have a conversation with you and dive more into, I'm interested to hear more about what it is that you've done and your background, because yesterday, while Alita showed up, right, and she showed up to practice and she showed up for iteration, and she was working on how to have the conversation with homeowners and how to learn the pre-foreclosure process, and she was open to feedback. This is why I love coaching. This is why I love like being a coach. This is why I love having coaches, is because it's another person who's able to look at your actions, your behavior, your life, and give you objective feedback on your situation. Victor and I just had a conversation earlier today. Victor, I started coaching him a year ago, and we check in weekly. He still continues to work with me because he saw the importance and the improvement that happened in his life as a result of having somebody who's already been where he wants to be, who could objectively look at his life, give him feedback. And also, I'm somebody who, like, I study this for a living. Like, I've been studying personal development, growth, high performance for over a decade, and not just studying it, but applying it upon myself, getting results in my own life. Like, guys, like me doing 7 figures in real estate, if you knew me beforehand, that was impossible. I've already done the impossible so many times in my life that I don't believe anything's impossible anymore. Let's keep going here, okay? Yo, what up, Gerald? Good to see you inside here. Gerald saying Alita did kill it. Shout out to Gerald. Gerald, I don't know if your ears started tingling. I started off this YouTube live tonight literally talking about your 50K rip, how you've been crushing it, how you've been showing up, you've been doing the damn thing, that when we started working together, you would literally take, like, I would give you instruction and you ran with it. And we had a conversation very early on, and you said, like, yo, this is a lot of money I'm about to invest. Like, are you sure this is going to work for me? Does this make sense? And if you remember what I said, Gerald, I promise you, I know this works. The biggest thing is I don't know if you will work. You're the wild card in this situation, not me. I know it works because it already worked for me. I know it worked because I've already worked it for other people. You're the wild card. I could bring all the support, but you need to bring the effort. And I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, Gerald, my man Gerald, he said, I remember that. Gerald brought the effort and continues to bring the effort. And I'm so stinking proud of him. Like, his business is growing. He's growing as a man, as a family man, as a godly man. So shout out to you, Gerald. He said, Gerald said it was scary. I freaking love this. Gerald says it was scary. It was freaking scary. And that's how you know you're moving in the right direction. Gerald, I was just telling the group here tonight that the goal I'm working on right now, like me growing my coaching business, it's scary. Me having people like you put your faith in me, put your trust in me, put your money in me. And then when I give you things to do, like I told you, I had that conversation with you about, hey, you need to separate from your team. You need to separate from your partners. You guys need to go in a different direction. You need to cut things off, things that are making you money. Like, that was scary for me to tell you those things, because I knew if you didn't fully commit, it could hurt you. But if you fully committed, even if it temporarily hurt, it would create the result you needed in the back end. And that's scary, because if it didn't work out for you because you only halfway committed, the worry is you're going to come and look at me and say, Marlon screwed me over. And so that's a scary liability, but I'm willing to take that liability on for the people like you who are committed. Excellent. Right? Gerald is excellent. It's a commitment to completion. All right, so let's talk about this final thing here. right? And I love that. Gerald said, "Yep, I had to make the decision." All right. So final thing is share your progress each day. It's accountability. It's the campfire. It's showing up each day and plugging in with other people. See, I've learned this so many times that the if you work only in isolation, your growth is limited. You will grow, but it's limited. When I used to skateboard, I'm going to tell you guys a fun little story. Let me take this off the screen for a second. All right. Melvin said Marlon giving us the juice. Melvin, shout out to you, bro. All right, look at this. When I used to skateboard growing up, I first off, I was the only black kid in my neighborhood that skateboarded. I got picked on. I got like made fun of for it. I got chased out of my own neighborhood, all that stuff. But I loved skateboarding. I was committed to it and I wanted to get better. The kids I could skate with all lived 1 or 2 or 3 towns over, and it wasn't like my parents were around to drive me, to drop me off, and after school, I wasn't allowed to go out and play. I had to come home on a weekday. I had to come home, do my work, do my homework, do my housework, do extra work that my parents would assign to me, and so I couldn't go and meet up with other kids after school to go skateboard with them, and I wanted to get better. I wanted to be able to keep up with these guys because they were all pretty good. And so I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna practice, 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 practice. And guys, after I was done with my homework, I would go out into the front yard and I would practice for hours, try and fail, try and fail, try. And eventually I started to learn how to do tricks. I got the ollie, I got the pop shove it, I got the kick flip, I got the vario, I got the heel flip, the tray flip. Like I started getting tricks down. And every time I would finally get the chance on the weekend to go out and skate with these guys, we would play a game called Skate. It's like horse, where you shoot the basketball from one spot and the other person has to copy that trick. So I would go and play with these guys. And what was happening is I was losing a lot because they had more tricks under their belt. So I would go home and practice tricks for a whole week. And like next week, I'm coming out, I'm going to be better, and I'm going to finally beat these guys. And what would happen is I would show up the next week and I was better, but they were also better, but they were better exponentially. And so it's like my growth was happening like this while their growth was happening like this. And so as I'm getting better, they're getting better at this rate. And we just were not accelerating at the same speed. They were accelerating so much faster than me. And I was like, what is going on? I couldn't understand. And because I didn't want to look so terrible, even when I had more opportunities to skate with them, I thought to myself, like, no, 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 you're not good enough to skate with them yet. You need to go back home and keep practicing before you could come back out and really hang with these guys. So I would leave skate sessions early to go home and practice so that the next time I showed up, I would be better because I didn't want to embarrass myself. I didn't want to slow the guys down. And I could promise you, a lot of you are doing this in business right now. You're thinking to yourself, I'm not good enough to hang out with the big players. I'm not good enough to keep up with the Carolines, to keep up with the Geralds, to keep up with the Lindsays, to keep up with the Sams, to keep up with all the people out there, the Paces and the Jamils and the Brent Daniels. And you're telling yourself, like, I need to go practice in the dark before I come out and approach these guys and try to play on their court and try to play their game. Well, guess what happens? They keep growing faster exponentially because they're putting themselves around a different campfire. They're putting themselves around people where they're the person who needs to catch up. But they understand you don't catch up by leaving the court. You catch up by staying on the court and living through the pain, living through the discomfort. Showing up to that campfire every day where you make a total fool of yourself is actually how you get better. This is why number 7 is share your progress. Be a part of community. Plug in with other people. Have them help hold you accountable. Have them help pull you up. Be there for one another. What happens is it's easier to suffer through when you're suffering with others. Group suffering, shared suffering. This is why in the military, if you guys take it for personal transformation and personal growth, whether you agree with military or not, take notes from the military. What does the military do so damn well? The military knows how to take a man or take a woman, break them down, and rebuild them to be the best version of themselves, to be absolute killing machines, to go out and complete a mission no matter what. That's what the military teaches and trains into human beings. And if you pay attention to the way they do it, they take you to basic, they put you in a group, they put you in a squadron, and then they make it that these tasks that they give you require you and your squad mates to link arms and come together because they understand that independently, if they put you through any of those challenges by yourself, you would break so much faster than when you're together with these people. Now, each individual who would not have been able to make it through alone is able to make it through as a result of the accountability, of the result of people work and fight harder when they're fighting for others, when they have other people that rely on them, when they have other people looking up to them, when they have other people observing them. We've all had that effect. And so I want you to be able to share your progress daily, and you share it inside the school. Come inside the school, post on the page each day, like, yo, guys, just finished my workout. Yo, guys, just finished my hands in the dirt. Yo, guys, today I almost quit on the eating healthy part. But you know what? I decided to go and grab the yogurt instead of the ice cream. Right? Share it in school or share it on Instagram. I don't care where you share it. Just share it every day. Keep accountable. I've done so many challenges and things in my life where I wanted to quit, but because I had what we call, I made a public proclamation. I told people I was going to do it. When I wanted to quit, because I now knew people were observing me, I didn't quit. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, the first time I ran 100 miles, I did a 100-mile race in December of 23. It took me about 31 hours to finish, right? Running straight through. And a few days leading up to the race, I was like, what the hell did I sign up for? Gerald, I don't want to do this anymore. Anthony, I wanted to back out so badly. This sounds miserable. And I was about to back out. And then I started getting these Instagram DMs like, yo, good luck on your race tomorrow. Yo, you're going to crush it. Yo, I'm excited for you. Hey, let me know if you need anything. Hey, rooting for you. And I'm like, damn it. Oh, crap. Now I got to do it because I got accountability. I linked arms with my community. I linked arms with my friends. I linked arms with the people, my network, my followers. And thank you guys, because you guys, real talk, you guys have supported me so much. What's so cool is we got 19 people on the live right now, at least on YouTube, and then however many people are on Instagram. Shout out to you guys for being here. I really do appreciate it, because I remember when I started doing lives and nobody showed up. I did hour-long lives to literally nobody. And then one person showed up, and then 4 people showed up, and then 5 people showed up, and then 8 people showed up, and then 12 people showed up. And some days we've had 50 people show up and 60 people show up. And that's just so freaking cool to me. And then you guys started commenting, and you guys started sharing, and then you started reposting. And then I started going to meetups and meeting you guys in person. And you're telling me, dude, I've watched every episode of Think Big. And I'm like, you never commented, you never liked it, you never shared it on Instagram. I didn't even know you were in the audience. And they're like, yeah, I can never be there live, but I go and I watch the replay. And I'm like, almost about to cry, like, you're the one who watches the replay. My mom doesn't even watch the replays, man. And so just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot to me. And I'm going to make this YouTube channel grow. I'm going to spread more of this message out there. I'm going to put out content that does not rot your brain, but improves you as a person, mind, body, and soul. And so I appreciate y'all's support, and I appreciate you being along the journey with me. And so all that to say, this is the Relentless Results protocol. I'm personally starting this, and I waited until I'm going to start this tomorrow morning so we can all start tomorrow as day one together. So tomorrow's going to be my day one. Tomorrow will be your day one. And if you want to join in, you can obviously just do this. And if you want access to the pictures and to the videos, so it explains it to you, what I'll say is go into the school channel. You can get to the school. I'll put the link actually right now for the classroom, for the school room inside here right now. So I just realized I'm not even sharing the screen. So I'll share this link to the classroom if I can find my way to the other page here. I think my screen is frozen, is what happened. So let me stop sharing my screen. This is what happens when you have too many things open on your computer. That's funny because I only have 4 tabs open. Oh, I love what Lily said. Lily says, Marlon, I found you through real estate, and I'm certain God brought you in my path for personal and life development. Thank you. I got to tell you, Lily, that is one of the coolest. Anytime someone tells me that, like, somehow it's like a God thing that we're connected, for me, that is by far the coolest compliment I can ever freaking get. So thank you, Lily. I'm glad. I think it's a God thing as well. I think everything's a God thing personally. Also, if on this channel you've got an issue with me being open about my faith, I believe in God. If that's an issue for you, you know, I'm going to talk more about God. So either get over it or, you don't have to tune into this channel. I'm never going to force my beliefs down your throat, but I'm not ever going to change who I am for anybody else. Okay, so take a look. When you guys come into this school community, it's going to be real simple. You can just go right over to where it says classroom. And right here, it's going to say relentless results. You click on it, and it will also just step you through it step by step, the guide. You can download this photo. I even explain how I use my iPhone to track everything as I go on. So that's going to be what I have for you. That's my gift to you guys. That's the link to get inside there. Join in there. And then there's other things inside the community, but really just come do the 30-day challenge with me for the next 30 days. I look forward to seeing you guys post inside of the school. I look forward to seeing you guys tag me on Instagram. I'll be sharing my journey over the next 30 days on Instagram with it. And I'm just going to let you guys know during this challenge, there are going to be days it is inconvenient. I already know it's going to be inconvenient for me. I've got flights, I've got speaking gigs. I'm going to be traveling around the US pretty much every weekend except for one over the next 2 months. I have a packed out schedule. I've filled my schedule up with coaching calls and work calls and onboarding calls for people who want to come into my program. So I literally, for the next 30 days, am going to have a tight calendar. And I'm still going to get it done regardless. If you on this 30-day journey miss a day, you mess up, no harm, no foul, but just like 75 hard, this is going to work on the honor system. You simply pick yourself up, brush your shoulder off, restart on day one, and you finish. That's it. But I'm promising you right now, if you make a commitment to complete it, there's so much strength found in completing this the first time through without giving yourself the out that you can just restart. Treat it like there was no opportunity to restart. So if you do fail, start from day one, right? Even if you failed on day 29, start back from day one. But I promise you, if you commit all the way through, there's something that happens to you that other people will be able to tell you committed, right? Like when I know when a person has finished the relentless results and they did it in its entirety and they did it without making it easier. They did it without like saying, well, I did 45 minutes of hard work, or I ate mostly healthy, or I read 8 pages one day. I know the difference between, without them even needing to tell me, I can look you in the eyes and tell when you've committed all the way through or when you adjusted things to make it convenient for yourself. So don't make this 75 soft. Don't make this happy relentless results. This is relentless results. All right. So guys, I appreciate you. I love you all. If you haven't done yet, subscribe, hit that like, and do me a favor, because this is my first time doing this episode without Sam. I would appreciate the encouragement. If you are getting value, share this on IG and tag me, like screenshot us being here, tag me on IG so I can see who was tuned in. I see Perry was here tonight. I see Lily was here, Savan, Lisa, a couple of you, Gerald popped in for a while, Melvin, Beth, I appreciate you, Yosio, Anthony. So Sean was in here. What up, Sean Clark? I don't know if you're still here. Alita, Papa Goose, aka Jerry. So I appreciate you all being here. Jose. So if you guys can, tag me on Instagram, share this episode, and I look forward to seeing who's doing the relentless results with me come tomorrow. Because on my IG, you're gonna see me doing it. So on that note, I will see you all tomorrow. You enjoy the rest of your evening. I appreciate you guys. And before I run out of here, one more thing, because Perry brought this up earlier on the Daily Dial this morning on the Zoom. He had asked about my coaching program, and a part of this, right? And I'm going to be loud right now for a minute. Caroline and I played a video this morning for some of you about Alex Hormozi. It was talking about Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger talks about inverted thinking. Our brains are so much better at finding the negativity in life that when we want to grow something in our lives, sometimes if I ask myself, how do I grow my business? How do I grow my brand? How do I grow my social media? How do I get more deals? It's hard to think of the how to do it in the positive. But if you invert and you ask, how do I guarantee my business fails? How do I guarantee my business never grows? How do I guarantee I don't get more customers? How do I guarantee I don't get more leads? Right? I was asking myself, I was having that conversation with myself earlier today while I was walking, and I was like, the way I guarantee my business never grows, the way I guarantee I don't hit $1 million in my coaching business is I need to tell nobody that I offer coaching. I need to tell absolutely no one can know. So what's the opposite of that? If I want to guarantee my business grows, I need to tell everybody what I do and what I offer. And so I offer high performance coaching for entrepreneurs who are ready for it, for people who are serious about betting on themselves, for who are serious about coming in and doing the work, and that you recognize you don't need to be convinced. You already understand that you internally need to create a shift before your external results are going to happen. So if you are that person and you are in that boat and you're ready to make an investment in yourself, and it's a financial investment, it's a time investment, it's an energy investment, and it's going to cause you to have to make some tough decisions, just like Gerald did, just like Victor had to do, just like I had to do, just like we all have to do for the people that make it to that next level. If you're serious about that, DM me on Instagram. Send me the word coach on Instagram, and I'll send you an application. And it is application based. So sometimes I get people that fill out the application and you're not ready for it. The team will let me know that, hey, this person, we don't think they're ready for it. And we'll figure out a way to get you there eventually. But fill out the application, DM me the word coach. Okay? Guys, enjoy your night. I will see you all tomorrow for the first day of the Relentless Results.